Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for clicking on a video. If you are returning, welcome back. And if you are new, go ahead and hit the like, follow, subscribe button. Listen, you already know the vibes. And if you don't, you're going to get to. But I got a lot of things I want to talk to you guys today about, right? So let's go ahead on and get into it. This is what we're going to be talking about. They had a Disney issue going on where they had a medical emergency. Kanye and Bianca was over there in Korea. Update on David, the rapper guy with the whole situation with the little young girl, Nick Fuentes. The child, he did an interview with Piers Morgan. Y'all not about to believe what this man admitted to, which is not a bad thing, but not even it ain't even surprising to be honest with you. Then I got some other topics like Andy Dick. You know what? We're gonna go ahead on and get into the Andy Dick situation. Okay, so let me pull up the video for you guys real quick so that you can see this. But Andy Dick broke his silence about his overdose scare, and he's saying that he's grateful to be alive, and he needs to reevaluate his circle and the choices that he's making, right? Because Hollywood is reacting with mixed emotions. Some people are sympathetic, and other people are just side eyeing the man. So let me pull up the video of him in the overdose.
Is he okay? Andy, are you okay, buddy? Is he okay? Hey. Andy, Andy, buddy. Hey, Andy, wake up! Wake up! What the dude? I want to call the ambulance. Call the ambulance right now. Let me see his nose. Hey, let me see his nose. Give me another hand. Right here. Just sit up. You sit up, please. No, wake him up right now. Wake him up.
Yeah, that's really happening. Yeah, that really happened. Real life, that really happened. And so here's his response. So thankfully he can respond. So here's his response.
Andy Dick is speaking out after being found slumped over in Hollywood from what appeared to be a drug overdose. We've got more on his ongoing struggles and what comes next in today's Page 6 headlines. TMZ reported that the 59-year-old comedian was seen hunched over on a set of concrete stairs on Tuesday, appearing unresponsive before friends rushed in to help. Eyewitnesses said an ambulance was called and Dick was given a dose of Narcan, which can rapidly reverse opioid overdoses. He later told TMZ by phone that he was alive and okay, though he didn't share what exactly led to the incident. The Los Angeles Fire Department confirmed he wasn't transported to a hospital. Dick has long been open about his battles with addiction, legal troubles, and attempts to get support through therapists and recovery specialists. Next up, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City alum Jen Shah is officially out of prison after serving less than half of her 6.5-year sentence. Shah was released early Wednesday.
Now that's not bad. She only did 2 years? Oh, okay. I'll take it.
And moved to community confinement overseen by the Bureau of Prisons Phoenix office, though her specific location remains undisclosed for safety reasons. She'll continue under 5 years of supervised release, including drug and alcohol testing, and will participate in outpatient mental health treatment. Her rep says Shah is in a hopeful state of mind, grateful for the chance to reunite with her family for the holidays, and focused on rebuilding her life. Shah had been serving time for her role in a nationwide telemarketing scheme and still owes millions in restitution. And finally, Taylor Swift gets emotional in a new trailer for her Disney Plus docuseries, The End of an Era, reflecting on just how demanding the Eras tour truly was. In a Good Morning America preview, Swift is seen wiping away tears as she describes the nearly 2-year global run as the biggest challenge any of us has ever done. She explains how adding her tortured post apartment era into an already 3-hour show required an all-hands-on-deck effort from her team. The trailer also spotlights behind-the-scenes moments from rehearsals to performances with Florence Welch and studio sessions.
All right. Well, that was fun to see, wasn't it? That girl said that's probably the hardest thing anybody has ever had to do was to tour. Anyway, I hope that Andy Dick he gets the help that he needs and recovers, and he's funny. I remember him in a few little movies and a couple of like animes where he did voiceovers and stuff. So I would never want to see anyone, famous or not, on drugs, strung out like that, it just makes you wonder. Well, not even wonder anymore, child, because everybody coming out with their tea about, hey, Brittany ex-boyfriend, y'all see how hot he is? I just had to throw him in that, child. I ain't even talking about the man. I just seen it and said this is just gonna be something for the girls to look at one time, okay? But yeah, I just feel bad that the man going through it like that. Cause anybody could get on drugs. I mean, anybody really could. You never know. You never know. So anyway, so what is the next thing I wanted to talk about on this good old what today is Wednesday? Today is Wednesday, hump day. All right, I ain't mad at it. Okay, so let's move on to the Magic Kingdom. Good Samaritan performs chest compressions on a fallen man. So I got the video for that. So hold on real quick. Let me see here. Okay, so Disney World just can't catch a break, right? So another man has suffered a medical emergency during a trip to the most magical place on earth. I did a video on the last one, child. With I got video of this too. It shows a bystander trying to save the man. Now sources with direct knowledge said that the man collapsed Thursday night while watching the Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away parade. I guess it was just too many damn candles or lights, stars, or whatever. Just too much action for the man. So the parade, is in Magic Kingdom. A fellow party goer or parade person out there, seeing what was going on and started performing chest compressions as a security guard, put on gloves to try to help. Now the man, look, the civilian just trying to help the security guard, like, hold on, let me put my little gloves on real quick, I gotta make sure I'm safe. Now, TMZ reached out, but there has been no word yet on whether or not the person died or is still alive. Like, we don't know what's going on. So this is the latest incident that comes 1 month after another guest, the lady that was in her 40s. She had got rushed to the hospital after, because it got hot out there. So, and then they had another two apparent suicides at the Walt Disney World theme park, like all within a month. So it's a lot going on. You get what I'm saying? You got three deaths in a year. Two of them apparent suicide. The lady died from the heat exhaustion. Now you got this guy. I don't want to go to no damn Disney World. Take Disney World out. Take Disneyland out. I don't want to do neither one of them because it's just too damn. That's too damn much. It's we're starting off the new year on a bad note, and we ain't even in the new year. Have y'all noticed you haven't seen anybody talking about some? Oh, I can't wait to 2026. Y'all notice that? Ain't too many people talking about they can't wait to 2026. But let me pull up the video because y'all just got me sidelining. Let me pull up the video of the man. Wait, did I pull it up? You know what? I didn't, because I didn't want to see that. So y'all not gonna see it either. Now we're gonna move right along. Now Kanye West. God. Okay. So Kanye and his wife were spotted again, this time in South Korea. And of course, the internet has something to say about her outfit, his mood, their marriage, everything except the actual reason they're traveling, right? They're they stay going viral without even trying. I need to get I need to get into that. Was I low that whole time? I think I might have been low that whole time. Well, if I was low, then y'all missed the Disney World horror. But then you really ain't missed nothing because I just talked about how Disney had four deaths, well, three deaths and one in a possible. Well, four deaths, three deaths in a possible because we don't know if the guy who the man was pushed doing the chest compulsions for, we don't know if he's alive or not because Disney hasn't said and he ain't said. And so they had three other incidents within the year, right? They had, well, these three incidents were actually within a month. They had two apparent suicides at Disney World, and they had the lady that was in her 40s who had the whole heat thing, and she got rushed out into the ambulance. She also died. So I just basically, y'all probably didn't hear all that, but s- I'm staying away from Disney World and Disneyland until they get their shit together. Now, I hope y'all heard that because the volume, now we good. Okay, okay. Now, like I was saying, Kanye and his wife were spotted out in Korea. And look, the internet they just go viral for no reason. And I ain't even mad at it. She is literally wearing something she got on all black, covered up, head to toe. All you can see is her neck. Now they got a problem with that. Kanye signed a few autographs. They got a problem with that. Anyway, they are traveling the world together with fans catching them arriving in Korea. Like I said, this was Saturday morning. This kind of I had this in the archives, but I decided to talk about it today because I just didn't want to talk about the other stuff that I seen. Now, of course, the husband and wife duo landed at the airport just outside of Seoul around 6 a.m. And while they were almost certainly exhausted from the overnight flight, he stopped and he signed a couple autographs. Like I said, he didn't speak, but he quickly, waved at people and stuff like that before walking off with his better half and his security. And while people, have seen Kanye and his wife, several times over the last few months, you haven't seen them too much together. So this is pretty different than like when they first started off, and back in 2023, they were running around the world hand in hand. Now, of course, Bianca shocked everyone by showing up basically naked at the Grammy Awards, back in February. But she and Ye made a hasty, they heard and got the hell up out of there, in a haste, right? More recently, we've seen Bianca spending time with her family and taking care of some personal things. Like earlier this week, saw her, trying to cover up her identity by using like this spandex shorts thing that she ripped off. But whatever, she doing whatever she doing. She really trying to be herself, but trying to take Kim's position. You get what I'm saying? She want that Kim fame. Now, Kanye usually rocks the stage with a concert or two when he's out in Korea or in Japan, even though it doesn't appear he has anything booked. I wouldn't be surprised if he pop up with a show because it just seems like anything he does, he need to do it in secrecy now because the people gonna stop it. They trying to stop that man money by any means necessary, and by God, I think it's working. Now, listen. Now, I look to see what countries Kanye banned from, or they cancel his performances. So he is banned in Australia. Well, his visa was revoked in 2025 after he released that pro-Nazi song, leading to the country just saying don't come here at all. And then Brazil, they had planned a concert, but it was canceled. It was supposed to go down this month. It was canceled after local officials refused to grant a permit over his history of anti-Semitic remarks. And South America has, let's just say, South America is the new promised land. It was promised 3,000, 2,000. It was promised a couple days ago. Um, Much of Europe, including Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Spain, Italy, and countries in Scandinavia, m- uh, many major venues reportedly won't touch him, basically, due to the backlash over his anti Semitic statements and his stance, and then the release of that song glorifying Hitler. So, you could talk about killing niggas all day long. You know, you can talk about King Leopold and killing niggas and cutting arms off. Don't you dare say anything about don't say anything anti-Semitic. Don't say anything positive about Hitler. I would also suggest that if you like history and stuff like that, go and listen to Hitler, like get the audio, but in English, and listen to Hitler and his speeches. And when you actually listen to it at like a mellow level, like not at a 10 and not in a foreign language where it sounds like somebody just yelling cuss you, good morning, fuck you too. Remember? But if you listen to it, it's pretty interesting the things that he was saying. We shouldn't have been in World War II. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, and then apparently parts of Asia, like South Korea, any concerts that he has had scheduled, they've canceled. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. In some cases, like with Australia, the ban involves visa cancellation, entry refusal. Because they're tied to hate speech, kind of like with Candace Owen, what they did with her. And then with Brazil, the local authorities, they just saying like, hey, we just won't give you permits. So you could come and visit, but you just can't get a permit to to do your music. I Hey man, the people got the right. Situations can change, bans can be lived if maybe if he apologized or, change his behavior or, whatever. But hey man, new bands come and new bands go. It is what it is. It doesn't mean that he's banned in every country. Only those who just don't want to, have what he's saying put to their people because they don't want the rising. The last thing you want is for the people to rise because then when they start rising and thinking for themselves, oh my God, how can you control the people? It's ridiculous. You know what I think? I think that, they're gonna try to push everybody back into like the time where there was like no internet or limited or whatever. Cause if you've never been anywhere, then it's hard for you to believe. You probably thinking like this girl done lost her damn mind. Like, what is she talking about? But if you have went places and hear me out, this is not being boisterous. This is just somebody who has traveled. And if I'm talking to somebody who has traveled, then you understand what I'm saying and you're not feeling offended like if I'm trying to brag about it, but I'm just saying reality. A lot of countries, if you look online, they are really, really behind. And you can go to a country and it feel like 1860 or 1667. You get what I'm saying? You've never lived in that time, but you do feel like you have went into another portal. You get what I'm saying? And it's kind of like I remember when I lived in Germany and when I came back to America after being gone for a few years, after I came back, it just felt as though I went back to the past because Europe was so advanced. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So like when I go places or if you go places like let's say if you were to go to I don't know, some remote village in Kenya, right? No offense to people in Kenya, but I'm just saying like really remote. To them, you having a car is futuristic in a sense. You get what I'm saying? Because you're ahead of where they at. So my point is the way that they're doing with the education system, how they trying to tear it down, how they trying to reduce people having federal jobs, how they trying to reduce just jobs overall. They trying to get people back into the manual labor. People are pushing for more. People getting off the internet, and it's like if you just step back and really just, whatever. Anyway, let's talk about David Ford. I might edit that out. Yeah, I'm not gonna edit it out. That's too much time. Anyway, so David, career manager, closely tied to his personal life, and people didn't know that this was what it was because he had put out an audio saying that all he do is schedule stuff, and he in another state, so he don't have no hand to hand with him, right? Now, the general manager of Mogul Vision, which is David's record label, who appeared before the grand jury for the last 2 days regarding the death of the young lady, Celeste, was way more than a record executive, right? He was involved in the dudes in the day-to-day life. Now, Robert is someone the grand jury prosecutor is intensively interested in as people have been talking about because they overheard him saying in a courtroom hallway that the prosecution hammered him on why he didn't call the police when he didn't know the context. But it's clear it involved David because he's a subject in the death of the girl, right? Now, Robert is way more than just his GM. He was also David's day-to-day manager. Turns out there were two managers. The other one is his name is Josh Marshall, who actually founded Mogul Vision and along with Robert managed the singer's career. Now, you may remember that Marshall, he's the one who signed the lease on the house. Okay, so Marshall is the one that I was talking about who stay in another city. I mean, stay in another state. And he was like, look, I don't know what to do. Look, like, I just deal with him on the phone. That's it. So he's the one who had signed the lease on the house for David, the one that he was living in, the one that the police had searched, right? Okay, now follow me, right? That's also where, after they had found that body. Now, in David's Tesla, they've been finding evidence. Now, TMZ and the coroner's office was going back and forth because TMZ had got word that the girl's body had been frozen and then was put in the trunk later. So it was harder for them to determine a time frame. But the coroner came by and said, TMZ, you a goddamn lie. We ain't never said that. Wasn't nothing wrong with the body. It was never frozen. But then TMZ's informant came back and said, I double down on it, 10 toes down, let the whole know they lying because they couldn't get fingerprints and check out the report because in the report it says that her fingerprints were watery or mushy. Now, how the hell that's gonna happen if the chick wasn't frozen or they didn't find her in the damn water and she was found in a truck dry, in a trunk dry. So it was back and forth, TMZ and all that. So hey, it is what it is. Now I had to tell y'all that because it was on my soul. Okay, so now the house is an important piece of the puzzle, which the LAPD believes implicates David in the death of the young lady, Celeste, right? Now, police believe that she was murdered. Okay, at the end of the day, that's what they believe. Now, Robert is also the president of the Zara Brothers Travel. That's a tour company for David. So, TMZ had broke the story about how Robert walked out of the grand jury courtroom Monday and downloaded his lawyer in a voice loud enough for people in the hallway to hear. Robert referring to the prosecutor in the grand jury room saying she was very pushy on why I didn't call the police. She went on to say, I said I feel like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to connect, just wanted to continue with the tour and all this other stuff. Now, there's another interesting twist. Now, late Tuesday afternoon, the prosecutor, Miss Beth Silverman, because I'm not gonna call her Beth because I don't know her like that. And in the way she was going at this dude, I don't even want to play with her. So Miss Silverman went into a nearby courtroom along with Robert and his lawyer. That courtroom is the same one where the judge was going to rule on whether to hold another witness in the Celeste situation in the grand jury in contempt. Now it's unclear why they went into this judge's courtroom, but it may well be the prosecutor, is dissatisfied with Robert's answers or lack of. Now when they went into the courtroom, the judge told the reporters to leave, so they don't know exactly what went down. But Robert was back before the grand jury the next day. So I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this. But this is it. Listen, I watched Sloan Bella, and Sloan Bella said it was 3 people involved in it. Now I don't know Sloan Bella like that, but I do listen to Sloan Bella. Okay, okay. Now there's a little more trouble going on. Okay, okay. Now here's another little update. Now, Miss Silverman, let me stop. Miss Silverman, the deputy DA, presented the case in LA, right, on Wednesday morning. And that's Mr. Roberts' attorney. You get what I'm saying? That's the manager. Now, oh wait. Mr. Evans was there. So Mr. Robert brought his lawyer, they was there and they went through their little thing or whatever. Now Silverman, who is, the DA, deputy DA, let me make sure I get these names right. Okay, so keep this right. So Deputy DA Silverman, and then you have Mr. Evans, who is Mr. Roberts' attorney. Okay. So Miss Silverman told Mr. Evans that she was going to have the judge issue a body attachment to force a female witness to testify before the grand jury. Now it appears that the female witness was a no-show and visibly frustrated. Miss Silverman said she would have authorities take the female witness into custody and bring her into the courtroom. Now look, now they don't know who the female witness is, but it's interesting, right? Now she's represented by the same lawyer as Robert. She spent around 3 days testifying before the grand jury. And Robert, remember I just told y'all Robert was in the highway cutting up about this and about that and about this and about that. So it's unclear if the female witness has, any connection to Robert, but all of it's pointing to David, whom the DA and LAPD are treating as a suspect. Now, all I'm saying, hear me out, is that Sloan Bella said it was 3 people involved. Sloan Bella said it was 3 people involved. She didn't say no names, but it's given. Allegedly, it's given. Hey, you put 2 and 2 together, and if you get 5, all right, whatever. Now, Nick Fuentes is making news outside of his usual, the Nazi loving, misogynistic rampage and rants that he be doing for the first time, he revealed that he is a 27-year-old virgin. Now, are y'all surprised? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a virgin, but are y'all surprised that he's one? I'm not surprised at all. Now, the white nationalist podcaster, he sat down with Piers Morgan for a wide range interview on, Pierce's uncensored show. And things got tense when the convo turned towards his sexuality, right? At one point, Morgan asked Fuentes if he's attracted to women, and he did confirm that he is, but he finds it very difficult to be around them. When Morgan asked if he's gay, he responded with no. Then Pierce, turned to Fuentes, the way that he, his misogynistic ways, right? Before looping back to the topic of sex, and then asked Fuentes $1 million question: has he ever had sex in his 27 years on the planet, right? Well, I hope not in your first 7 years. I mean, well, hell, not even that. Let me not say it like that, but you get what I'm saying. Like 27, don't say 27 years. Like most people would lose their virginity at what, 16, 15, 16. So yeah, I should say, the last 12 years, but goodness gracious, 27 years, you freak. So he went on to say no, but kudos to Pierce for getting Fuentes to give up the goods about his lack of carnal knowledge. Yeah, I can use that. Yeah, 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 that's perfect. Okay, okay, okay. So now let's move on over here to this doctor. Oh, there you go. Scared the hell out of me, child. Okay, real quick, because I can't keep y'all here all day, and it's already at 26 minutes. Okay. So I know y'all heard about that estranged husband in Arkansas that they say, okay, because I ain't got time for no lawsuit. They got this mom who was murdered and her twin children, her children, all three were killed, and people are heartbroken and they don't know what to do. Now I got the video for y'all, so hold on. Let me pull that video up. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Holla, 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 holla. Um, okay. All right, let me go. Okay, here it is right here. Yeah, I don't need to put that down. Okay, we can watch it like that. All right, so let's tune on in.
In
Oh,
continuing
wait a
coverage, we're
minute. I
following
do.
updates in the investigation.
I do. I do. I love you. Yeah.
In continuing coverage, we're following updates in the investigation into the deaths of
All
Charity
right.
Powell Bialis and her twin children. Tonight, we're hearing from the lawyer representing Charity's husband at the time of her death, Dr. Randall Bialis. In a statement to 5 News, Dr. Bialis' attorney, Michael Pierce, says in part, quote, Mr. Bialis has been cooperative with law enforcement and fully supports the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office investigation. We hope the Sheriff's Office finds the truth about what happened to Mrs. Charity Bialis and their children. His lawyer also claims Dr. Bialis was recently awarded joint custody of the twins during a hearing on December 2nd, and that the children were set to spend more time with him moving forward. The Sebastian County Circuit Clerk says that hearing was the final divorce proceeding between the two, held just one day before Charity and her children were found dead. Court documents say Dr. Bialis was arrested in February and pleaded guilty in October to third-degree battery.
Is this half a laughing? Am I tripping? She's stuttering and laughing. Did she have something to do with it? Todd?
In domestic case involving Charity. A no-contact order was in place at the time. Dr. Bialis has not been named a suspect or charged in the deaths. You can read more about this case on our website, 5newsonline.com.
Now, y'all know what I find interesting about this? Okay. So, he's a prominent doctor. He denies that he had anything to do. Oh, wait a minute. Let me pull up this. Hold on. Let me put my thing on. Okay. He denies having anything to do with the deaths of his estranged wife and the two children, and he is heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? After they found about, after the bodies have been found, and it's just a bit of divorce. Now, he was previously, he did previously plead guilty to domestic violence after choking her. Well, actually, it's not choking; it's called strangulation. Let me tell you how I know the difference. Because I had a situation, and this was like the first time I ever been in something like that. And so, I was talking with this lady, and I was like, "Yeah, I got into it with this guy, and he had choked me." And she was like, "Well, choking is when you're eating something and it gets caught, it's called strangulation when he da da da. And I said, well, you call it what you want, but he was choking the shit out of me. How you gonna tell me I couldn't listen? I couldn't swallow nothing, so I was being choked anyway. And no, and me and him, we did not go any further. He was choking me because I didn't want to be with him. Ain't that the crazy part? Oh my God, people just so silly. And then he he like sent me a text message and was like apologizing and stuff. And I was like, why? I didn't even respond because I want you to just die feeling like, oh my God, I hurt her. I was over it, okay? Because I had already moved on. Anyway, but yeah, he had already pled guilty to domestic violence for choking his wife at their $750,000 home out there by in Oklahoma, right? But he was not, arrested or charged with the murders or whatever. He received a 1-year suspended sentence and was ordered to pay like $1,500 in fines. And it was a girl and a boy, fraternal twins. And yeah, Charity was the lady's name, and she feared so badly that her husband was going to harm her and the children that she asked the state senator for help getting protection earlier this year. But his attorney told the Post that the violent doctor was innocent. Hey, he also added that his client had given a voluntary interview and allowed access to anything requested by the county sheriffs, during their investigation. Just a day before, like the news reporter said that the bodies were found, they had just went to court, the ex-husband and the lady, where Randall was awarded joint custody of the children. So, Charity had sought sole custody using a choking incident as a reason that their father should not have custody. The divorce proceedings had concluded a day before the bodies were found, and it's just such a tragic event. It's really sad. Now, what I will say is, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but that man has somewhat of a past. Cause I had looked it up and, okay, so his first wife, she's alive and well, they had 3 kids together, and then his, he had a second wife, and she died. She died from a so-called self-inflicted gun wound, and then his 3rd wife is the same lady who became his 4th wife because they married and then they divorced and then they remarried and then now she's died by what happened with the kids and her. So yeah, and the kids were 6 years old if I didn't mention that. Yeah, man. I don't know. Some people just got a thing for death. I don't know. I don't know. You got to stay away from some people, and I would stay away from him. It's not a bad thing to do a background check. I remember I did a background check on a guy, and I just did it just because I wasn't really like dating at the time. I had got out of 2 serious relationships. Like I was in a relationship for a long time. Then when I got out of there, I got into another one. So when I got out of there, I said, I'm just gonna take a break, right? And then I met this guy. He was really cool, sexy, cute. Oh, guy, he made my blood boil every time I seen him. Made my whistle too. You know what I'm saying? And and we worked together and stuff like that. Not in the same department, but we worked in the same building ish. And I decided because we had started hanging out and stuff, and so I low key like just said, you know what, just for the funsies, because it ran across. You know how you get those little things and they run across your screen, and it's like, sign up now and get run a background check for 99 cents or whatever. And so, and FYI, if you do sign up for stuff, get you one of those little Cash App cards so you can put like $10 on it. And that way, when you sign up for stuff, if you forget about it, they hit the Cash App card. You don't keep no money on there anyway. So, bam. You know what I'm saying? That's if you have a Cash App, or if you don't use your Cash App like that. I don't. So it is what it is. But anyway, so I did a background check, and this boy had like 2 DV charges on his thing, right? And so it was from a ex. It was, I think it was his ex baby mom, well, his baby mama, but the kid was grown, you know. And I was like, oh. And I looked at, because I seen the pictures, because they had the arrest pictures, and I was like, oh my God. And like the dude, like I was about to call him a ninja. The ninja was so offended that I did the background check. And like I was offended that he was offended that I did a background check. Like, wouldn't you want somebody to do a background check? Like, would if you had a daughter, wouldn't you want your daughter to do a background check to make sure she ain't got some crazy ass woman abusing ass ninja in the house? Right, right. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So speaking of crazy, this not hitchhiker. I was about to call this man a hitchhiker, but damn, this hiker. Okay. A tourist scene. Okay, now if you on the side of a mountain, people, I'm sorry, but if you on the side of a mountain, what in the hell is you doing? Doing anything outside of what your tour guide is telling you to do. Now, a tourist hiking a mountain in China fell off a 130-foot high cliff while trying to get a perfect selfie. And I got it on video. Now, the video takes place in a mountain in Guangdong, China. The guy is balancing off of a rocky cliff, phone in hand, and he looks down and then tries to take the selfie. Then he stumbles and falls off the cliff, disappearing into the tree line below. Now, after the guy disappears, you can see tourists and the heads they looking, but they couldn't find him. Now, reports out of China say that the man fell about 50 feet, and miraculously, the guy lived to tell the story on social media. Naturally, right now, the man posted on social media, "The mountain guys blessed me. I'm so lucky. I fell from a 40-meter high cliff and rolled down the slope for nearly 15 meters." Then the rocks collapsed. I thought I was going to die. It was so good. It's so good to be alive. So I'm living well. I had to tell you that because I don't like people's hearts to be hurting too bad. Now let me see where I put this hike at with his foolish ass. Hold on. Okay. Let me put this down and let me pull this up. Wait, get your mind out together, people. Oops.
好，来，汤家。好，来，汤家。
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know what? Sometimes people get what they deserve. He didn't deserve to die, but he deserved the lesson. And the lesson is don't take your stupid ass to the edge of no cliff to get no damn perfect picture. The perfect picture is you being there. What you need to go to the edge of the cliff for? You get what I'm saying? I'm seeing the volcano erupt. That's enough. I don't need to touch the fucking the meat. Okay, I don't need to touch the molting lava. Okay, it makes no sense. People just, that's not an uncommon thing where people be dying from trying to get the perfect picture. Now, speaking of death, and I hate to look, I don't be for all the death stuff, but it's just interesting. This man, hold on, let me pull this up. Now, this man was on the Royal Caribbean cruise and he died. They served this man 33 drinks and he cut up. And I'm talking about cut up and down. Hold on, let me show you. Y'all know I got the video. Hold on, I'm about to show y'all the video right now. Y'all gonna be like, what?
A cruise vacation turns into a deadly trip. A passenger goes from drinking at the bar to dying in custody. Now a lawsuit's been filed. Earlier tonight, I spoke with the victim's family's attorney about what happened. One frightened passenger making this cell phone recording of another apparently intoxicated passenger. His name was Michael Virgil, using steel-toed boots. Virgil, screaming threats and profanities, tries to kick in a cruise ship door in a passageway below decks. This was December of last year when Fox 11 first reported this story.
The gentleman that was drunk said that he was going to kill us, and then he started chasing us down the hallway.
Michael Virgil, more than 6 feet and some 300 pounds, would be surrounded and subdued by Royal Caribbean security personnel using...
All right, y'all know I got to stop it for a second and say, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all know I'm building a self-pardon tube. Continue.
Zip ties, handcuffs, pepper spray, and their body weight. And according to this newly filed lawsuit, injecting him with at least 2 sedatives, all of which, according to the medical examiner, contributed to his death, ruled a homicide.
This is completely preventable on so many levels. The family was out for a long weekend of fun.
Attorney Kevin Haynes of the firm Kirker Garcia is suing Royal Caribbean on behalf of Virgil's fiancée and their young son, saying the cruise line is responsible for Virgil's death. Why is Royal Caribbean responsible for his death?
Not only did they overserve him with alcohol, once they determined that he needed security intervention, they set in course events that ultimately killed him. Let me be specific. The first domino that fell is that they physically restrained him with 5 people physically on top of him, which resulted...
Did this man say calling the police was a domino effect to his death? I thought calling the police was supposed to resolve. This man made it seem like calling the police, that ultimately led to what? Okay, continue, sir.
resulted in mechanical asphyxiation, which is what George Floyd suffered.
What does Royal Caribbean say
Oh, hell no. Not them using George Floyd as they case.
about this highly publicized, controversial death? Not much. Issued a statement simply saying, we're saddened by the passing of one of our guests, won't be commenting any further on pending litigation. When the man who shot that original cell phone video heard about what happened to Virgil, this reaction.
I just want to give my condolences to the family, and I'm really sorry. Nobody deserves to die, especially like that.
The cause of death listed as the combined effects of mechanical asphyxia, obesity, enlarged heart, and ethanol or alcohol.
Oh my goodness. That's a whole bunch. Could you imagine just going out on a cruise and you ending up, oh God, man. It just be too much going on. You know what else be going on? Check this video out.
Ain't nothing bigger than this. I don't live flip. I want the grapes. No way. I don't live flip, man. I live flip. How we rocking? Wolfgang.
One more time.
Ain't nothing bigger than this. I don't live flip. I want the grapes. No way. I live flip, man. I live flip.
I just like looking at that video because it just remind me of when I was young and used to just be out there in them streets and how when the boys just be wanting your child, they just be walking up on you and you loved it because you know what I'm saying? You was a little hot thing. You like that little attention girl. So anyway, real quick, Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, they are leaving the UK and moving back to the US to find they found the country living to be quite boring and they didn't like it. So they moved out there. They relocated to like this $20 million farmhouse that's approximately like 16,000 square feet and sits 43 sprawling acres. And they've since listed the property for sale and moved into a larger, more modern estate nearby. So I guess they got tired of all the build up child. Plus I heard that it flooded a lot over there where they at. And that seems to be kind of similar to what they said Beyonce found a location at, where Beyonce and her husband are moving to. They said that the area floods a lot. So I don't know. Maybe they just, they taking advantage of the dumb Americans. You know what I'm saying? We moving over there and they like, okay, come on, buy, go to New Orleans. Yeah, buy you something in the Lower Ninth Ward. Yeah, you ain't never got to worry about no flood over there. Perfect. For my New Orleans people, if you know, you know. Anyway, I think that is all that I have. Yeah, let me see. Let me make sure that I went through everything real quick because I be getting off here sometimes and I be like, dang, I forgot I wanted to talk about this. And then I have it and then bam, I'm doing a recap like now and I'm talking about stuff that happened a couple days ago, whatever. But yeah, we talked about let's see. So we talked about Jen Shaw, we talked about Andy Dick, we talked about Ellen and Portia, what's her name? Portia, whatever. Talked about the cruise passenger, his death being ruled a homicide, the tourist that fell off the cliff for trying to take the selfie, but he still lived. The doctor, the Bonanza doctor, Jesus. That man just allegedly he got a bad history. Let me see here. Nick and him being a virgin. See here, Dave and the other two people that Salon Bella had talked about. The Disney horror with those people that just keep dying there. Let's see what else we got. Oh, before we wrap up, for a few of y'all, you guys have heard me talk about this, but like I said, you never know who is listening. So I do want to mention that my self parting tool is in the making. I'm going to keep talking about it because you never know who's listening. It's a hands-free device that helps you create clean parts and section your hair without needing anybody's assistant, not even a mirror. I mean, you can always use a mirror if you want to, but you don't even need a mirror, child. I'm so serious. Perfect for parting. Like I said, parting your hair, protect the style, wash days. You want to grease your scalp, whatever. Anybody who fights with the comb, child, is still in development as far as for being refined. I am trying to find. Let me tell y'all something. I told y'all I had met with this guy, and I told him I wanted to meet with a manufacturer, and this guy was a source to manufacturers. And so I've just, like I said, I'm not going to go with him, nor am I going to use any of his contacts because I don't want anybody. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to backdoor and be like, hey, I gave her your number and I want to get 5% off or whatever, or 2%, or give me 1%, or even a point percent. No, I ain't like how he approached the situation like partnership. Like, if I'm paying you, it's no partnership. You're my employee. You work for me. You get what I'm saying? You're an independent contractor, but you work for me. We're not partners. And then I thought about it like, if I can't do too much with it right now, then what can you do? And whatever you can do, I can do it too. You get what I'm saying? All I need is to have a really good lawyer on my side and we can work it from there. So anyway, so yeah, like I said, it's still developing, and you could go to my website, click on there, add to the wish list or the wait list. I think it's wait list, and then you go from there. But yeah, so all right, y'all. That's tonight's full rundown. I thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like, comment, subscribe, and all that other stuff. Now y'all can meet me over on Twitch, which I'm here now. TikTok, and of course YouTube. And I'll be here tomorrow. I plan on it. But consistency is key, and y'all be easy. Till next time. Bye. Bye.